welcome back, or welcome to the show. I'm Dennis Prager, and I have on the line a man I have great admiration for, Bernie Marcus. He's founder of Home Depot, but he has gone way beyond that and become a real voice for this country. And he has written a piece, Real Clear Politics is published. Real Clear Politics takes the best conservative and liberal articles every day, so it's a real credit to him and his piece. And it is a defense of the job that Donald Trump has been doing. And I have written the same, and this is a true kindred spirit to me, about all the good that has been done through, and the fog, the avalanche of criticism that intimidates, I think, a lot of people from coming out for him. He is also, incidentally, has a new web initiative. It's called defendmainstreet.com, where small businessmen can tell their stories. I'm going to start with that and then go to Donald Trump. Anyway, Bernie, welcome back to the show.
Great to speak to you again, Dennis. It's a pleasure, and I was happy to meet you when you were here in Boca Raton.
It's always great to be with you wherever it is in the country. I think only once did I... what is your hometown?
Pardon me?
What is your hometown?
My hometown really is Atlanta, Georgia, but
right.
I really live in Florida more than 6 months a year.
Oh, okay. Because I don't think I've seen you in L.A., I've seen you in Vegas, I have seen you in Florida, I have seen you, I think, in New York, but I don't think I ever saw you in Atlanta. I was just thinking about that. Anyway, I was just telling my listeners that talking about defending middle-class businesses and small businesses. There's an article in the Washington Times today about how many restaurants are closing down in San Francisco. It's a Harvard study, by the way. Yes, a Harvard study, Alan reminds me. And because of the minimum wage laws. Is that an example of where you would want somebody to write in and tell you the effects of the higher minimum wage laws?
Yeah, I think it's very important. It's called defendmainstreet.com. Business people, when they pass these laws, they rarely think about the outcome. It sounds good, it feels good, and they pass a law, and all of a sudden you have a disaster on your hands. Small business guys who all of a sudden are paying $10 or $11 an hour in a very, very small gross margin or net margin business, like restaurants, like some of the food business. In fact, most businesses, they work on a small amount of money. If you go from $10 an hour, $11 an hour to $15 an hour, you basically wipe out the profit. Now, no one stays in business unless they have a profit. So small business people are getting killed all over America. It's happening in Seattle. I think in Milwaukee we finally had a mayor that had some brains and refused to sign that legislation. Baltimore
as well, and that's a totally liberal mayor. Yeah, go on.
Yeah, but they realized the outcome was going to be really bad. So defendmainstreet.com is a way for the small business guy to get on to tell his story. America doesn't know how small business is getting killed by regulations, by taxes, by Obamacare. They don't understand that the labor laws, the overtime laws that are passed by the Labor Department, how this affects somebody's business, and after a while they don't make money. Now, you talk about a restaurant. A typical restaurant goes out of business. Probably 35 to 40 people lose their jobs. It's not a small deal. It's a very big deal. And we have an organization called Job Creators Network, which I started about 4 years, Dennis. And this is the ability to work for small businesses in America. Now, people have said to me, Bernie Marcus, you're a very wealthy guy. You ran a big business. Why are you getting involved with something like small businesses? It's because I was a small business, and I remember the early days. I remember the 18-hour days, the 7 days a week, and I know that what a struggle it is to run a business and to get a business off the ground. In those years, and that was 78, 79, you could be successful because the government was not as onerous.
Yes, hold that point. That is important, obviously. Onerous government. It's redundant. Back in a moment with Bernie Marcus. Hello, my friends. Dennis Prager, speaking to Bernie Marcus, the founder of Home Depot. Written a piece for Real Clear Politics. 32,000 people have sent it out. That's a lot. That's a lot. I know about articles. I write a column every week. 31,400 shares. Trump's results. I'll read in a moment from it. I just want to remind you folks, he has two projects. One is defendmainstreet.com. If you're a small businessman or woman, you can tell your story there. And it's important that these stories get out there. And what is your other work? The Job Creators Network. Right. And how do people contact that? JobCreatorsNetwork.com. And in small businesses, Dennis, they don't have a way of lobbying Washington. That's right.
Big companies have lobbyists that they pay a ton of money for.
Right.
The small guy that owns a restaurant in Seattle or San Francisco, who does he have representing him? Nobody. Yeah. And so we are representing them. We what we do is we encourage them to join Job Creators Network, and we give them all the information they need to make intelligent decisions, to know what the government is doing. Every law that passes has an effect on small businesses, unless it's a foreign thing, but almost every new regulation affects small businesses. And so we're giving them a weapon to fight back because we're fighting it. And by the way, Job Creators Network fought the $15 an hour wage increase in several states. And as you said, Baltimore, they were very successful in Baltimore getting them not to do it. And so Job Creators Network's out there representing them, and they need it desperately. And hopefully, under this president, the tax law, Obamacare, which is an absolute killer, and nobody talks about Obamacare anymore. The Democrats are selling it that it's a good thing for America. Well, it's not a good thing for America. And anybody out there that's making $50,000, $60,000, $70,000 a year, you're paying anywhere from $1,200 to $1,500 a month in insurance costs, and then you have deductibles on top of that. So it's not good for you as a business person. And hopefully, Trump is going to get the Congress to organize themselves, and I think he will. Because he's gonna make it happen. I just believe it.
Let me ask you one final question, because I could talk to you all day, and sometimes I have. But I'm curious in this regard. You have come out, and I agree with every word of your piece, praising President Trump for what he's done, and specifically in your case with regard to business and the economy. Have you paid any price with friends or relatives in being so overtly pro-Trump?
That's an interesting question, Dennis. The truth is that I've balanced it off. My foundation gives so much money to so many charities. We're involved with building hospitals. We're involved with clinical trials all over the United States for autism and other terrible, terrible maladies and diseases. It's hard to attack me because we're doing so many good things. And the reason I'm doing it, Dennis, is very simple. I'm a businessman. I grew up in the free enterprise system, and I've watched how systematically it's being dismantled by the U.S. government. And my involvement is strictly from the free enterprise system. My parents were Russian immigrants that spoke no English. I grew up in a ghetto, really on the fourth floor, with a cold oven, really with a stove. And look where I ended up. And I ended up there because of the free enterprise system. That's why my parents ran away from
All right, Russia. So I'll ask you another psychological question. So your experience is, of course, shared by many, and you interpreted it, which is, to my mind, the only way to interpret 2 + 2 as equaling 4. Look, am I lucky or what? I was in a country with a free enterprise system. Look where I ended up. But a vast number of your peers who have benefited as you have from the free enterprise system are now its leading opponents. How do you explain that?
Yeah, well, if you look at the internet, a lot of these people look at Facebook. I mean, what was he, 22 years old?
Yes,
23.
Right. So he doesn't know from suffering.
He doesn't know. I mean, he came out. His thing was an instant success. I mean, he never had the troubles, the problems that you go through, and became an instant billionaire. We had to bust our butts in order to make it happen. So those people who are fighting the free enterprise really don't understand it. They really don't get it. And they were successful, but they feel as though everybody can be successful that way. It's not true. The people run laundries. People run restaurants. They run pizza parlors. They do all kinds of things. And they're not overnight success, and their ability to make $1 billion within a year, it just doesn't happen. And so they grind away every day, and when the government puts obstacles in their path, well, they can't make it anymore. And my heart goes out for these people. I remember working that way, and it just hurts me badly. What I'm doing is very simple. I'm trying to give back to society.
Yeah. Well, you would truly be my poster child or poster boy for the conservative, the Trump supporter who just radiates goodness. And I'm not buttering. I have no reason to butter you up. But I'm not. I'm just saying this myth that the conservative, wealthy conservative pro-Trump person, they're selfish. You live a life of giving. Bernie Marcus's piece is up at DennisPrager.com. Bernie, keep up the great work. And again, folks, defendmainstreet.com and jobcreators.com. Thanks, Bernie.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, it's a joy to do so. It's a joy to do so. It's a joy to